It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Up to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Once again, Ryan Ermanni won't be with us. We wish him well. We wish him the best of luck. But we did get a chance to talk to him. He is feeling better, so we should see him tomorrow. But I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Mazaway. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, Bray. Looking good in those glasses.
I appreciate this, man. I stole these from somebody. You probably know who it is, man. I said they look better on me, so we're going to give them a test run. Obviously, I'm lying, but they don't look that bad, right?
They look good. Wild
Hair Wednesdays continue to Wild Hair Thursdays. And with that, I say hello to my guy, who I have not seen, fellow Michigan Wolverine, does an amazing job on air, personality, as well as journalism. Matt Broder, how you feeling, man?
Let's go. I'm feeling great. Thanks for letting me come in and sit in for Ryan, a fellow Michigan man. I feel right at home with you guys. I've been watching you every day almost.
We love you, man.
It's great to be here.
We'll miss you on the
too,
chat,
man.
though.
We do.
I know that's usually like I'm now down in Allen Park while your show is going on, so I just can't interact as much. But being on, every week we usually get to sneak on with you guys for 10, 15 minutes. It's been great.
Tremendous field work that you do on behalf of Woodward Sports Network with the Lions, man. But before we get into the Honolulu Blue and Silver, you're a fellow Michigan guy. I'm a fellow Michigan guy. We got to talk about it, man. We've called it all year through all the adversity. How does it feel for Michigan to finally come home with the crown, Matt?
It feels so great, just for the entire community, every fan, all the players, former student athletes. It's something. Having the football team win a national championship means way more to that school than most people really understand. You know, all the tradition, all the history that goes into it, the path to get there, whether it was all the off-field stuff, beating Ohio State, going against Alabama, knocking them out. It was storybook. It was so great. It was fun. It reconnected me with a lot of my old teammates. It was special.
That's a real thing. I think this year more than ever, and we won't talk about Michigan long. I know there's a lot of Michigan State people that want to hear about the Lions, and so do we. But I think this was one of those years with everything that happened, whether it was the first 3 games of the season, the last 3 games of the regular season, the Harbaugh suspension. This brought our fan base closer. I think inadvertently it brought the alums closer. Like we had this year was the 20th year reunion of the 2003 Big Ten championship team. I saw a lot of guys, Maz, that I hadn't seen in a long time. John Navarre,
you got
Dave
something to keep
Boss.
your head up about.
Yeah, and so seeing each other, we talked about the Fab Five. I mean, the Fab Five came together. Why? Winning brings everybody together. It sucks, but winning brings everybody together. And right now, we are at the top of the mountain, so we won't talk too much more. Peace Spivak, JB joining us. How you fellas doing?
What's going on, Bray? How you doing today, man? You looking good in the Michigan sweater?
I appreciate that, man. Yellow or maize is my color, man. Let me not say it too loud, man. I like a fraudulent fan, man. Maize
came from a definitely
is my. Hey, JB, I almost told on myself.
You can't do that, man.
How you feeling out there, JB?
Oh, I'm feeling good, man. It's another great show. I mean, the weather outside, I wish it was a little bit better, but hey, at least I'm here with you guys.
It's frightful. I appreciate that.
We
but
love
Christmas is over. But
what a show we got.
But the gift that keeps on giving is the Detroit Lions. And speaking with us today with the Detroit Lions is Cynthia Frelund of the NFL Network, as well as
TJ Rives, Buccaneers sideline
reporter.
And of course, we got Dr. Jeff Pierce on
Jeff
later.
Pierce is coming. We actually got some things to talk to him about too. Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta.
Hey, he's got good news though. Broder's got good news for us.
We'll let him break that. Matt Broder, what you got for us?
There's a man who wears the number 41 on the Detroit Lions. He is back. James Houston.
JH.
James Houston, outside linebacker, edge rusher extraordinaire. Had a really big final 8 games of the last season. He's back after breaking his fibula earlier in the season. All this speculation, especially these last couple days, when are we going to see him? Or are they going to put him on IR? This was the day they had to decide. His 21-day window up, and they're activating him. Unfortunately, they're waiving linebacker Julian Okwara, but James Houston, we're hoping he brings a little extra firepower on the other side, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. This is the time.
Haven't heard Julian Okwara's name in a little while, so I don't think he will be missed. But with that being said, let's just dive into it.
His brother will miss him.
100%, but his brother's kicking some ass right now. We need him. Let's talk about James Houston. Just what does that do for Aiden Hutchinson and his defensive line? Because it seemed like Aiden is finding himself. You got like James. What can that do for the Lions defense?
Oh, it can absolutely elevate Aiden even higher. This is since Aaron Glenn has made adjustments to this defense, whether that's CD Deuce coming back or Iffy showing up, Iffy Melifonwu, the safety. The way they're blitzing the safeties, the way they're even using Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell, even some Jalen Reeves-Maben. It's all of that has helped open up more opportunities for Aiden Hutchinson. Just one or two less double teams on him. He's been able to get through. The pressures have been there all year, but now we're seeing him finish them. Even if Matthew Stafford's tripping over his running back, Aiden Hutchinson is still the one right there to get that sack. Put that in the stat book. So it could be huge, especially going into the playoffs where pressuring a quarterback like Baker Mayfield is huge.
Yeah, you brought something up. We were going to wait to talk about it, but did you hear what Baker Mayfield said about one player on our team, that Kirby Joseph? James Houston obviously activated. Can't wait to talk more about that. But I think we got to stick with the Stafford thing, because I think as the game has gone by, there's been a little bit more and more come from Matthew Stafford. Maz, how about you lead this one? Matt Stafford talking about Kirby Joseph, which led Dan Campbell to have something to say as well.
There's a lot of stuff out there. There are a lot of people in the NFL are saying Kirby Joseph is a dirty tackler. And who was the guy that got injured first, Matt?
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hawk went down on a tackle right around his knee. Obviously, he's not going for his knee. He's going for his hip. But if the receiver goes down, you don't want to hit him with the crown of your head, whatever. So the rep is out there. Tyler Higbee tackled on Sunday by Kirby Joseph, and he tore his ACL. So we put the tweet out. We showed that to you, that they're calling him a dirty player. And then we'll play Matthew Stafford. NFL, of course, got this on video and on tape. He was mic'd up. Give a listen to Matthew Stafford talking to Kirby Joseph.
Stafford flips his hips, wings one middle, bobbled, and cut down Tyler Higbee in dangerous play.
Stafford was not happy about the celebration by Kirby Joseph either.
Hey, that's a good hit. That's a good hit. You dirtiest. Don't you know it? You dirtiest. It's been on tape. I've seen it. Hey, it's been on tape. It's on tape. You're right. You're right.
Dirty as F. Dirty as F is what he's yelling at him.
He's yelling at, but also what he's saying too. It's been on tape. Yeah. Usually, when there's a player that that there's a question mark about how a player is doing something, is it dirty? Is it questionable? There'll be film. You watch film, and so you have that in the back of your mind. Before we break it down, was it dirty or not? Is he a dirty player or not? Dan Campbell, who's going to defend his guys, had something to say to Matt Stafford about that.
Kirby Joseph, he's caught some flack for a couple of hits he's made the last couple of weeks. Just wondering what you say to him, if you counsel him about his play style at all, or are you comfortable with the way that he's.
Look, that's how we play football here. Just keep your head up, see what you hit. That'll always be what I tell Kirby. Just keep your eyes up so you don't hit on the crown of your helmet and you hit a spine. You mess yourself up there. Just see what you hit. But no, I mean he's going for the thigh board and staying away from the head, and that's how we play defense here. We're not dirty. It's just we hit.
And there you have it from Dan Campbell supporting Kirby Joseph, saying that's just how we play football here. Keep your head up, and whatever you hit, see what you hit. Matt Broder, I'll bring it to you. You've watched these Detroit Lions team the whole year. You watch Kirby Joseph. You watch the physicality in which they play with. For you, what did you see in these plays with Kirby Joseph, especially the one that Matt Stafford had the issue with?
Yeah, I see it as a competitive player, a hard hitter, making a play with the speed of the game moving so fast. These were both bang plays. No, I think actually the most important part is Kirby Joseph off the field, the type of guy he is. There's not a bone in my body that believes he's a dirty player. That's just he's a kind kid, but he's a talker. He's very energetic. So when you see a guy like TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Higbee, you're going and trying to make a tackle within the rules of the NFL. I think this brings forward the questions of the rules and protecting the players, protecting the wide receivers. If he had gone high, not only is he getting flagged, he's getting penalized, but he might be getting suspended. He's getting fined, and the worst thing that could happen to the player with a head injury, concussion, paralyzation. There's so much worse things that can happen to go high. That's why they've changed these rules. So to see him go low, it sucks that two guys now have torn their ACLs. These are serious injuries, but where else is Kirby Joseph supposed to hit? Like Dan Campbell said, he was aiming for his thigh board. He wasn't intentionally trying to hurt him.
Yeah, man.
Listen, man, they're not dirty hits, but there's only so much you could do as a defensive guy. How do you tackle anymore? And I want to ask you, Bray, now that the Lions have this reputation, will other teams try to do that to them?
Let me start.
I remember Bounty Gate,
right.
But I'm just talking about if the Lions, hey, it's on tape. It's on tape. It is what it is, man. Two guys down with ACLs inside of 4 weeks.
Yeah, you could have some of that. You could have teams wanting to respond or teams waiting for something to happen and then already have a henchman set in mode for set like that. But I don't think the NFL is going to resort back to what the Saints did in 2015. I want to say it was bounding maybe a little earlier, 9, 10, 11. The NFL has kind of changed. It's gone the way of the NBA in terms of people don't want to hurt people. People aren't setting those things in motion. But I think I agree with both of you guys. I think what it is now with the NFL, as a defensive player, like, you're so caught, you don't know what to do. You're in the moment, you're full speed, you're trying not to get the concussion. How many plays have we seen where quarterbacks are allowed, maybe even Josh Allen in his pass game, they're allowed to scamper and get away from things because guys are like, I don't know what to do in this moment. So I think for them it sucks because it is coincidence that this happened to two different players, two different tight ends. They both tore the ACL. I think it's coincidental. I don't think, and this is why. I think it's also the men that are coaching these guys. Aaron Glenn's not a dirty player. No. He wasn't a dirty player when he played. He has the utmost respect for the league. He's a former player, so he's going to respect every guy he's going against. All the players on the staff are all former coaches. They're all Dan Campbell. Nothing about this Lions team is dirty.
He's a tight end.
So that's where I will push back and say, hey, look, I can understand Matt Stafford mad in a moment. I can understand, say, we saw this play again. But once again, I think it's a bang-bang play. I think it's a coincidence. At the same time, don't look at the player. Look at the coach. Look at the coach, and if you look at the defensive coordinator, if you look at the secondary coach, Dre Bly, who's a friend of mine, big brother. When I was in Michigan, I used to go downtown and hang out with him when I was a freshman, sophomore. Like, I know Dre Bly. Dre Bly's not teaching that. Dre Bly's not teaching that. Dan Campbell's not teaching that. Aaron Glenn isn't allowing that. So that's why I push back and say he's not a dirty player. It's just coincidental. It sucks. And I'm sorry for Tyler Higbee, but it's not a dirty team. And people know that.
Those aren't little guys they're trying to tackle.
Yeah.
The tight end's a big man.
Yeah.
And wait till you see Green Bay or San Francisco, and you got Kittle and you got Luke Musgrave to try to tackle. It don't get any easier from here. Tampa Bay has got Otten. He's a big guy. I mean, how else are you supposed to tackle? If you're a little guy like Kirby Joseph, you're not going to tackle him around his shoulder pads. You got to go low.
And then it sucks because it's when you go low, you can't go too low. Like, when you go too low, one, you risk concussion by getting kicked in the head or getting kneed in the head. So you're also not trying to take the knee out. You're trying to get somewhere in the middle. Full speed is going. Players are making athletic moves. They're making moves on the field. So it's just tough. It's a tough space, but this is the NFL's fault. This is the NFL's fault for changing the rules and expecting guys to just change with them. And guys have gotten a lot better, but you can't go from one extreme. When I played, I think I retired in 2014. When I first came in 2005, to now it's a completely different game. So I think a lot of defensive players are trying to find themselves within the rules, but I just think it's a bang-bang play.
And do you guys see Harrison Smith, the safety for the Minnesota Vikings? Yeah, he just came out and said, he said fans say it's a dirty player problem and players say it's a league problem. Either way, it needs to be addressed in the offseason. That's really telling coming from one of TJ Hawkinson's teammates, a hard hitter, a safety playing the same position as Kirby Joseph. It's interesting. And I want to ask you guys, do you have a problem with the Rams including this clip in their sights and sounds or their Matthew Stafford mic'd up? Like, there's so much more to this conversation, and the way Stafford said it as a good hit, but you're a dirty player. That opens up the door to everybody taking a shot at Kirby's reputation. What do you guys think?
Same as Kelly Stafford putting out that the fans booed her kids.
Great call.
When they didn't. They're just putting out crap about the Lions. It's sore losing mentality. That's what it is.
I'm glad you guys said it first. I didn't want to be the guy to beat up on the guy that used to be here, man. This is definitely sore losing mentality. I mean, you talk about a guy that left. We allowed you to leave. You wanted to leave. You left. You went to the Rams. You won a Super Bowl. You came back. Look, man, some bumps didn't go your way. You got your ass whooped at the end. You played a hell of a game and you lost. This is the type of thing where you're like, damn, I didn't want that for Matt Stafford. I didn't want it to be like that. You got Sean McVay, who has a problem with Jared Goff apparently because now he's not having the last laugh. He's not the little leprechaun on top of the mountain. Jared Goff is the one that got his get back. Now he's mad. His quarterback got beat up. It should have been penalties on that. It was a dirty hit on Higbee. I think this is just a team, Sean McVay included, and Matt Stafford, who, as much as the Lions put up with you shouldn't be this way.
But
nobody's booing your kids.
The problem I have here is they're putting it out. So who's going to listen?
Everybody.
The referees, the other teams. So you're going to start seeing flags on the Lions for hits that are not dirty. That's what I'm afraid of. And you know how we get screwed left and right. And I don't know who's reffing the game this week, but I hope to God it's a it's a fair guy. That's all I'm asking for.
It sucks, man. Let's. I feel everybody getting a little tense right now. There's a little tension going on. Let's take a break. Let's get to a break. Let's talk about this Woodward Sports Network merch, and then when we get back, we'll dive into the Bucs because they are coming in and they are rolling with momentum. WoodwardSports.com/shop. That's where you're gonna get Woodward Sports' latest merch. They got the best merch. They got the colors you need, whether it's Michigan State, the Pistons, go blue, you know what time it is, or Honolulu blue and silver. They got the best phrases. Stoked. Detroit score. You know what time it is. Go to WoodwardSports.com. Get the latest drip. You see my boy Matt Broder always rocking some of that good merch. .com/shop.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or find them online at fairwaypacking.com.
Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. But today it is my man, Matt Broder, and Maz is sitting in the big chair. I want to stick with this topic just a little bit, talking about the dirty hits or what's a dirty hit, what's not a dirty hit in Stafford. I want to bring it to Stafford, Maz, because you said something when we were first listening to Matt's presser after the game, and you pointed it out. You called it during that, and I said, well, maybe he still was concussed. And here we are, day 4, day 5, he's doubling down. You said in his press conference, he said, are you happy for the city? And what did he say, Maz?
He told Corey Woods that, I'm happy for the players.
So he wouldn't say the city. But let me ask you this.
He cut right off.
If you have a problem with the players being dirty, then why do you not say the city instead of players?
I don't understand what's going on with him. But if you remember, the Rams put out the tape, the video, and we just watched part of it, heard part of it. But at the beginning of the game, when he was being introduced or coming out on the field, and they were booing him, he was like, come on, bring it on. Bring it on. Come on, give it to me. Go ahead, give it to me. So he was pumped up for this game. So he had a chip on his shoulder from the get-go. And I don't blame him.
Yeah,
he's an athlete. He wants to win this game.
He never won here.
And you see his wife walking around, and she got to him before he did anything and said, hey, they were booing me and the girls on top of it. So he's already got that in his mind. Am I wrong, Matt?
No, you're right. No, you're right. And Maz, you were there, and I don't know if I'm going to explain this right, but to me, it was I feel like the crowd was perfect. Like I don't think it was disrespectful in any way.
It was half and half, actually.
Yeah, in fact, it seemed like there was more support for Jared Goff than there was boos for Matthew Stafford.
No doubt.
I thought it was just a clean fight from the crowd.
Yeah, is it just me or does Kelly Stafford remind you of Cap Rooney's wife any given Sunday? Remember at the end he's trying to retire. He's like, no, it's the kids' team now. She slapped the hell out of him. It was like, it's your team. You're the goddamn quarterback of the Miami Sharks. Yeah, let me ask you this, Maz. If you had the game that Matt Stafford had, you played in this game and you saw
he played great.
No, he played amazing. But you're looking from a standpoint where he felt like he should have got a late roughing the passer, roughing the quarterback. He felt like he should have had 2. Then you see a couple hits on Puka Nacua, especially as you go back and you watch the film. You see the pull, you see that, and then you see the Kirby Joseph thing, which I'm playing devil's advocate, which you've seen on film.
Yeah.
What you've seen on film, you say, hey, watch this guy. We're going to mention him to the ref. He does things like this. And then it actually happens the exact same way. When you put all that in a pot of gumbo, Maz, are you not stirring it upset as hell if you're Matt Stafford?
I'm upset because how good the Lions play now. And they didn't play like that with that kind of vig, with that kind of – even when they had Ndamukong Suh, I don't think they hit as hard as this team hits right now. The way they play, the way Aaron Glenn has them playing, the way Dan Campbell – is on him. He got his receivers blocking. He's yelling at Laporta for missing a block, even though Laporta is a stud and he probably shouldn't even have played that damn game and winds up scoring a touchdown. Anyway, this coaching staff has this team playing at their peak. Now, is their defense got some holes? Of course it does. Today, I think Aaron Glenn tried to go out and defend Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton's been taking some heat. I know Ryan was texting me during the game, Cam Sutton, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, give him a chance. Then he wrote, CJGJ's rusty. I'm like, give him a chance. You're not always going to be hitting it on all cylinders. But, guys like these guys, I'm so happy that they're on our side,
yes.
Matt. That's all I'm saying.
They make so much of a difference to this team with how their personalities are in the locker room, on the field. We saw in the Lions sights and sounds, it was CD Deuce, CJ Gardner-Johnson, who was pumping up the whole defensive back line before the game. He is a vocal leader in that team. He does have playoff experience. So does Cam Sutton. That's what these younger guys are feeding off of. And yeah, Cam Sutton got beat on one by Puka Nacua. He's got beat on a couple, but he usually comes back.
Yeah.
Every game this season, he usually comes back and makes a big play. And he was huge for the Lions when they were facing this stretch of mobile quarterbacks. Yeah. Having a cornerback like that who can tackle at the line of scrimmage, he saved a lot of big plays from happening. And he's not supposed to be the number one cornerback this year. That was supposed to be Emmanuel Mosley. So you're not. He's had some pretty damn good receivers go up against him. Excuse my language. No. Cam Sutton, he's part of this team. He's part of that grit, that edge that they play with. He's huge.
Yeah, no need to say apologies on that one. I definitely agree with you. Not on this show, man. He's rocking and rolling. You're absolutely correct. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he stepped up into the role, and he's made some tremendous plays. Look, everybody gives up plays, especially to that guy wearing 17 for the Rams. But you talk about personalities, and you got two personalities that are going back and forth right now. You got Baker Mayfield, who's always been their way, and you got CD Deuce for the Detroit Lions. They're sharing some words back and forth, and yesterday, Baker comes out, and he says, hey, look, maybe you want to watch film because the guy that you're naming hasn't played since early in the film. And then CD Deuce responds. He said, you better check that last quarterback because I did watch film. Do we got audio on no, we just got the sound.
We don't have audio, but we got 3 different slides. So you can read those.
Here's the 3 different slides. This is Baker Mayfield to CD Deuce yesterday. I don't think he's really watched film. Got to do a little bit more film study. And then CD Deuce came back to say, if you give that Tampa wide receiver group a good quarterback, that's a great group.
So real quick, that one was actually the first.
That was the first
in the timeline. Yeah, so CD Deuce came out and he said if it's a great wide receiver group, if they had a good quarterback, whatever he said. Second one was Baker responding. CD Deuce mentioned Russell Gage in his full quote, and Baker was like, Russell Gage hasn't played all year. He's been on the injured reserve. Then the Deuce comes back and talks about Tom Brady.
And then he said loading surface part 2. Matt, I'll open it up with you. If you're the Lions, are you comfortable with DJ going back and forth with Baker Mayfield? Do you love this? Tom, I'll get back to you and ask you about Baker and the Bucs. DJ, go.
I love it because I think this is CD Deuce, CJ Gardner-Johnson being himself and being fiery. At the same time, I do understand the other side of it, most specifically because it's Baker Mayfield. This is a quarterback who thrives off that, thrives off being doubted, being the underdog. He's like we're going to get to in a little bit. Dan Campbell loves him because he's a gritty player. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to feed more motivation to him, but from the CD Deuce side, I love it. He's a talker. That's where he gets his confidence, and his teammates know that too. They've got his back. They trust him. So I don't have a problem with it. It's good to have a little bit of edge to you, a little bit of that spark that he knows this team needs a little something extra. It's the playoffs. Maybe it's taking their eyes off something else just to put focus on CD Deuce versus something. Who knows? Yeah. I love it though.
Tom Asaway, Baker Mayfield's side of it. How are you if you're Tampa? Are you cool with Baker going back and forth with CD Deuce?
Oh yeah. Baker's, first of all, he didn't really say anything bad. Matter of fact, he complimented him, saying he's a good player. He didn't play against us the last time. I'm looking forward to facing him this time. This is a new Baker Mayfield.
That's sarcasm, by the way.
This is a new. That's sarcasm. This is a new Baker Mayfield. Okay, he's not going to go out there and just call the guy out and say, "We'll see. I'll see you on Sunday." Blah blah blah. He's just going to try to show you on Sunday what he's got, and he is the old Baker Mayfield, the guy that got drafted first overall. It's a battle of 2 first overall picks again. Matthew Stafford against Goff, and now Goff against Baker Mayfield. And who was the one guy I wanted on the Lions to take in free agency?
Baker Mayfield. Oh, CD Deuce.
Come on.
CD Deuce.
Keep bringing it, man. Keep bringing it, CJ.
This is how I feel about it. I feel like I like it from both sides. Pause. I think that CD Deuce.
Definite pause.
This is 100% it was. But CD Deuce, this is who he is. And if CD Deuce isn't going to step up in this moment, then now I'm scared. Now I'm nervous. Like, why won't you step up? And for Baker Mayfield, like you said, he thrives in these situations. Do you remember the Kansas game where the little kid wouldn't shake his hand? He took it out on Kansas. Little kid wouldn't shake his hands. He went out there and torched Kansas for 55 yards. That's just who he is. You saw he did to Ohio State. So he thrives on that. But I will say this. If I'm the Lions, though, I want CD Deuce to go back at Baker. But I'm like, hey, man, I hope you know what you're doing, because he thrives in these moments. He gets excited. He gets the juices flowing. But when you're a defensive back, when you're one of those guys situated, sometimes even a wide receiver, when you're trying to make that play because you've been jaw-jacking or you've been going at it, you guys been getting at it on social, sometimes you do too much and you miss a tackle. You over pursue. You try to go. You got to try to lay somebody out. Now it's an illegal hit. It's rough and pass, or a guy gets thrown out. So I think he's got to bottle that emotion in the game. He's got to, much like he's been doing. But don't try to get trapped in the Baker Mayfield and CD Deuce. It is the Detroit Lions versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. That touchdown from Puka Nacua where he beat Cam, it was a 50-yarder in the first quarter. CD Deuce, actually, he went to lay a massive hit on him, and that's where Puka, he held up and was able to sneak into the end zone. So you're right. Just as long as he bottles it up and uses it for the good of the team. He's not a little guy that needs to talk to feel big. He's actually a player who walks the walk after he talks. So we just need that again in this game too. He can't have a letdown.
Speaking of a player that walks the walk and talks the talk, that's been Jared Goff. I think that's what we've gone to, especially the end of the year, especially what he was up against last game. But here's Jared Goff talking about the Bucs. We're trying to tell you about him. Just listen to Jared.
I got the question a lot prior to this past week of how will these guys handle this big game, and all these guys not playing in a big game before, and I'm happy I don't have to answer that question anymore because we won a big game and these guys can handle all this. So that'd be the same thing with this week. It's another big game, it's another playoff game, and these guys have played in big games. We just won a big game last week, and we'll be ready to go. I think you also.
So what were you able to make of that, Maz? Jared Goff talking about the Bucs. What do you think?
It's another big game, man. It's one and done now.
Yeah.
It's one and done. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if you're playing the Carolina Panthers. It's one and done right now. And the Lions now know how to win. I just saw a graphic on ESPN. They put up the Detroit Free Press or the Detroit News from 1957. It said Lions win 50-14. Our last championship, 1957. This is the first time a team's actually got a shot to win back-to-back games. They already broke the streak of a team never winning a wild card game. Yeah. That's done. Next streak, let's go to our second NFC championship game in the Super Bowl era. First one didn't work out so good. Let's win this game. Remember, the divisional game that they beat Dallas on in 1992 was a divisional game. They had the week off because they won the division that year. This time they had to play in the wild card round because it's different. Not two teams don't get a bye now. So they had to play. So now they got their win. Now they play the divisional round. This team now knows. They can look in the mirror and say, we know how to win. We've won a playoff game before. We beat this team in week 6, and we held them to 6 points. I know a lot of people are saying this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't know if it is. 20-6 the first time. I know both teams are different, but I don't know. I don't expect a high-scoring game.
I think I expect a high-scoring game because we'll get into that in a second. But I just wanted to run something before I forgot. And before we go to TJ Rives, who's coming in sideline reporter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next segment. Can't wait to talk. Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Got everything off his back. Won the playoff game, beat Sean McVay. He beat Matt Stafford. He outdueled him. They got the game, and he was able to put the game away at the end with the pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do you believe that this gives him a different type of confidence moving forward, not just with the playoffs, but maybe even just his career in general?
I think definitely. You could see when he came into the locker room after the game and his team was chanting his name, not the fans, his teammates were chanting Jared Goff. It was like a group of kids celebrating for their best friend out on the football field in their backyard. There was something special about it. And you could see when he let out that emotion, it was like letting out all of that energy that was sort of pulling him back or pulling his narrative back. Yeah. I think he's definitely a confident quarterback. I think something like this could definitely take it to the next level. This city's behind him now. He can feel that. He can see it in every one of his interviews. So to see him come out and not only have a performance on that stage and still not get the love nationally, it's something that he's going to be motivated. I have so much faith in Jared Goff moving forward in the playoffs behind this offensive line. It's something that I'm really excited to see how far he can take this team.
Did you see him when he was leaving in the car? Was that his dad driving?
That was his dad. And actually, so that clip was actually from 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Oh, jeez.
Someone posted it. Champagne Athletics posted it as if it was after the game.
It sure sounded like it.
It did. Jared Goff confirmed in that interview. He said, actually, that was a couple weeks ago. But
I liked it, though.
Last thing I noticed, I know we got to go to break. The first person to meet him in that locker room, Penei Sewell, with a big hug. There's something special going on. I don't know if that. We don't need to get into the contract talks, but like when you have a bond with Penei Sewell like that, good things are about to happen.
Yeah, it's that Pac-12 connection talking about Cal and Oregon. Too bad Darren Orlovsky doesn't seem to think Jared Goff's in the top 5, but we'll get into that later. Maz, why don't you tell us a little bit about Big Boy?
All right, guys. Wintertime is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the Southern Comfort chicken bowl. And how about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. So is the classic lumberjack and Santa Fe garden omelet. The apple pie hotcakes, they're too good to miss. And end your meal with a great shake. They got all the flavors. Plus, they've got gingerbread right now. The gingerbread shake at your local Big Boy.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry-aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Hey, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include training. You get all this just for $10 a month with no commitment. Remember, no matter where you are, there is always a Planet Fitness nearby.
Yes, it is.
With more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. So find your local Planet Fitness today, or as always, you can check them out online at planetfitness.com.
And it's always good to start working on the winter time so you can get that summertime body time. Maz and Matt Broder join us today on the Mighty Networks with Maz. We keep talking about a team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why not talk to their sideline reporter, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, TJ Rives. How you doing, TJ?
Hi, TJ.
Hey, great to be with you guys. Hopefully I got hooked in through all the technology, etc.
We got him now,
all
Pete?
good.
Uh-oh. We got you covered. Hold on, TJ.
Hold on, TJ.
You know how these shows work. You know how these shows work.
Live show.
TJ, are you with us?
Hopefully
I know you're
I'm
with us.
Good now.
There we
he
go.
is.
There we go.
Hey, man, welcome to the show.
Live
Thanks.
show, baby. I was just making the excuse if it is a problem, it's me. But apparently in these relationships, Braylon, you feeling me? It's not me, it's you. Is that
100%. It's all me in this
That's a
one.
Seinfeld.
It is all me. Seinfeld. We love it. That's his favorite show. By the way, TJ, let's just jump into it, man. Winners of 5 of the last 6, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the way they ended the season, man. They've been rolling Baker Mayfield. And they just dismantled the Eagles. But I got a pretty good feeling that you and the people down there in Tampa, you guys aren't surprised by that.
No, I mean, this team's been playing much better ball than when you guys were down here and we were in the creamsicle orange and the Lions put it on the Buccaneers in October. It has been a different, more aggressive team defensively, and Baker Mayfield has kicked it in down the stretch of the season in December. Those are the two biggest differences right now as to why this team is winning. Take advantage of those weapons like Mike Evans, like Chris Godwin. I'm speaking your language, Braylon. On get the
Yes.
ball in those playmakers' hands. Let them go do the work for you. That's worked on offense, and defensively with the blitz and the aggressiveness, it has been different.
Yeah, definitely. That's why receivers are making $30 million a year today. I think I played in the wrong era. Just talking about Baker for a second. Maz loves Baker. He's been on the Baker train since Cleveland. What changed, early on in the season? What was it between Todd Bowles, between Dave Canellis, who, by the way, Dave Canellis was the assistant receivers coach when I was with Seattle back in the day. What changed with Dave, Todd Bowles, and Baker Mayfield after that Lions game?
It took some getting used to, obviously, and Canales had early success. This Buccaneer team won the opening game at Minnesota and shocked a lot of people when Minnesota had been a playoff team a year ago, beating them at full strength.
Yeah.
They then turned around and also beat the New Orleans Saints early in the year at the Superdome, and you're 3-1, and everybody's going, wow. Well, then, as you guys know, people adjust. People figure you out. And so there were some growing pains in the middle of the season. Losses to Philadelphia, to San Francisco, to the Lions, to the Bills, teams, Houston, that are all in the playoffs. But then this team, I think, adjusted to the adjustments, began to get better, got Rashad White involved more in the receiving game out of the backfield. And Canales, again, has done a tremendous job of mixing things up, seeing some different looks that we haven't seen all year long. Late in the year, even in that playoff game with Philadelphia, there were a couple of looks we hadn't seen. So I think they've gotten comfortable. And again, Mayfield's experience, like you were talking about. My joke is, if you win a playoff game in Cleveland, and Braylon, I know you played there, that should be worth like 3 playoff wins.
It is.
If you can win a playoff game there.
This is true.
So
good call, TJ.
He got it done there, and it's not a surprise he's leading this team right now in Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield.
Great call.
TJ, what kind of game do you expect here? 20-6 back in Week 6. Lions were missing a few guys. Tampa Bay was not hitting their stride yet. As you said, they were probably in a little bit of a funk at that point. What kind of game are we expecting here? A lot of people expecting a high-scoring game. How about you?
Very well could be. And I think, I don't want to overstate how important the first 3 or 4 possessions are, but I think it's big. And if the Buccaneers hang in, do some positive things, get an early lead maybe, that's important. If the Lions come out like they did against the Rams and you see 2 touchdowns immediately, it's not the whole game, but we know that crowd is going to be ready to blow the roof off the place. So if you're the Buccaneers, that's danger. Danger is, do not let the Lions get away from you in the first part of this game, even though the Rams kind of reeled the Lions back in as the game went on with all that emotion. But it would not surprise me if this game is like 27-24, 31-27, something like that. And the Buccaneers have had success a couple of times now winning high-scoring games like this.
Hey, what's been the major difference with Todd Bowles? I mean, Todd, I'm a Jets fan. Obviously, Braylon played there, 2 AFC championship games. He did not succeed in New York. We wanted to run him out of town. But he goes to Tampa Bay, and he just starts to win. Yeah, it helps to have Tom Brady, sure. And it helps to follow the guy that he followed.
Bruce Arians.
And Bruce Arians. But what has he done different this year? He looks like a different type of Todd Bowles, especially the way he answered that reporter's question the other day when they asked about the Detroit weather.
We are confirming here on Woodward Sports, as Coach Todd Bowles did, the game will be inside at Ford Field. Just clear that up for everybody.
Yeah,
it is
clear.
confirmed. So aggressive. The word aggressive. They have been a more aggressive defense the second half of the season. The blitzing. Another big factor, the number 1 pick, Kalijah Cansey. Remember this name? Defensive lineman, ACC Player of the Year out of Pitt. Exactly, Braylon. That guy was not healthy. He barely had gotten back in the lineup in the Lions game in October, but he was not healthy for about 6 weeks at the beginning of the year. He has come on like a madman down the stretch of the season. And you've got an outside rusher, a kid, another rookie, 2 rookies. Yaya Diaby, number 0. The Buccaneers have never had a 0. This is only the first year that they're letting somebody wear 0. And Yaya Diaby wears that as a badge of honor because he was a 0-star coming out of high school in Georgia and ends up getting a scholarship to Louisville and ends up getting drafted by the Buccaneers in the 3rd round, and now has 7.5 sacks in his rookie year in the NFL. Not bad for a 0-star out of high school. So watch out for Cansey and Diaby helping up front with Vita Vea, the big school building size defensive tackle. We love Vita.
Man,
Shaq Barrett, the veteran on the outside. This Buccaneer defense has been aggressive. The front 4 has been good, and it's no secret that that's directly related to why the Bucs are winning.
TJ Rives, thanks so much for joining. And I appreciate connecting with you. I was just going to ask about those 3 guys on the defensive line, so let me pivot and ask you about Antoine Winfield Jr.
Damn it, you stole my question. That's my question.
Yeah, the Lions like to use the middle of the field, whether that's with Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds. What is Antoine Winfield and his versatility, his hard-hitting style, what does that bring to the back of that Buccaneers defense against the Lions this weekend?
How about the word everything? I know you have much love for Aiden Hutchinson there. I know, pick one all over the NFL. Fred Warner in San Francisco, these different defensive stars and what they do, TJ Watt in Pittsburgh, etc., what they do for their team. Winfield may very well be the best player on this team.
Jeez.
I didn't say best player just on the defense. He has had an amazing season in terms of nobody in the NFL for 15 years has had 10 pass breakups, 5 or more sacks, 5 or more forced fumbles, and 5 or more recoveries. He's been tremendous this year. So Winfield is a leader, and why do I get the feeling he's going to make a big play or two in this game in the back half of the defense? There have been 4 safeties in the 2000s. We've looked this up that have won NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I think I have this right off the top of my head. Correct me. All right, Bob Sanders, yes. Palomalu. Braylon's got the list. He's ready. Rod Woodson and Ed Reed. There are 4 of them that have won Player of the Year. Antoine Winfield Jr. should get votes for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know that he's going to win it, but he's been that good, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that's who actually I was going with, and we can end with that.
He's scaring me.
I love
TJ,
Antoine Winfield.
Me.
Another Pro Bowl snub, too.
Started with his father, though.
For the record, I did not have access to the rundown and the list of questions. We're just kind of going off the cuff, and we're just rolling with it. Go ahead.
No, we're rocking and rolling. Antoine Winfield, I remember playing against his father. Also, I remember his father at Ohio State. He's one of the best defensive backs that I went against. So when I saw that last name, I knew he was going to be greatness, but damn. You saw what he was in the Super Bowl. He's a blitzing extraordinaire. He can tackle. Reminds me of Brian Branch here, or I should say Brian Branch reminds me of him because Antoine Winfield does have a Super Bowl under his title. We appreciate your time, TJ, but I will leave you with this. Sorry we had to steal Stevie Eisman. I see that Tampa Bay Lightning hat in the back. Sorry we had to steal Eisman. We had to bring him home.
Stevie Y, we have much affection for Stevie Y. I will just submit to you, we're still winning Stanley Cups down here. What's going on with the Red Wings? You got to get your
coming on, man.
We're on the way.
3rd in the Atlantic. And guess
how about Sunday?
They're here.
This is news down here. Sunday is Bucs and Lions, and then it's Lightning and Red Wings.
Yep.
Because they moved it. They moved the game.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. It's great.
Exactly. So it's fascinating how it's all intertwined. I'm looking forward to this. We'll be up there in the Motor City. We'll see what happens with this playoff game. Somebody's in the NFC title game out of the Lions and the Buccaneers.
Amazing.
Sign me up. Here we go.
Sign me up, TJ.
TJ, we appreciate to have you on the show. We will have you in the future again. Hopefully, it's to talk about the same type of stuff. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see you on the sidelines, TJ.
We will. Don't bring too much luck. I think you scared some of my fan base.
Enjoy that weather.
Don't bring too much luck. All right, enjoy that weather. And with that, we will. You wanna take a quick break? Come back.
Sure.
We got about 2 minutes or so. We can talk.
Man,
we got about 2 minutes.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
I'm scared out of my ass right now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So side note,
I am.
Side note, I'm gonna swing this question over here to you, Broder. But when we talked about it, Ryan was sitting right there. You were sitting right there. Who did I tell Ryan I wanted to face?
Philly.
I wanted to face Philly. They were falling apart. I knew if they did, they would limp to a win. We would destroy Philly. Not saying we can't beat Tampa because we're a better team, but Tampa, it's all about momentum. Like, it's about momentum, and it seems, Matt, you talk about the defensive line, Kalijah Kancey, who was rumored here a bunch of times in the draft. Seems like they're getting it together. And TJ Rives, does he have a couple people out here a little nervous?
I think people need to take them seriously.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's nerves. For some people, that's just a little more fuel to the fire. But they're built for a playoff run. Like they've had their moments through the season where they've struggled. But when you're built with a good offensive line, a very good front seven, and then you have a guy like Antoine Winfield roaming center field, and also the stuff he does up in the box, that's dangerous. This team's dangerous when they're playing for a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who thrives off of this.
Yeah, and it's funny you talk about Baker Mayfield, who thrives off this. Dan Campbell talked about Baker Mayfield. Let's drop that soundbite real quick when you get a chance, Pete.
Look, I've always been a Baker fan from afar. I loved him when he was coming out. I tell this story. This, to me, said a lot about him. And I went and worked Blake Andrews out when he was coming out of OU. They came out the same year, tight end. And so so I went out there. Well, his quarterback, it's cold, but he comes out there. I think he's got like flip-flops on. It's Baker. Baker's going to throw for him. Well, Baker threw for every one of his guys that was coming out that year, and I think he'd already had 2 private workouts the 2 days prior, and he had one that afternoon, and I think the one the next day. So that just says a lot about the guy. There's no wonder why people rally around him and follow him, because he's that type of teammate, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys who wouldn't do that. Well, I got to save my arm. I've got so-and-so club coming in. That wasn't him. So, you can respect stuff like that now.
Let's talk about that when we get back, because I'm going to tell you how I read that coming from Dan Campbell talking about Baker Mayfield and why I actually like what he was saying and how it can help the Lions. And also, we'll talk about this 2024 schedule that came out. Excited to be able to talk about the future, but still be in the present with the Lions. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we don't get this opportunity very often in January.
We don't. It is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. But first, let's get a message from Fairway Packing.
Fairway Packing, for over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience that Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. They got delicious grab-and-go steaks, anything you could ask for, or you can check them out online at fairwaypacking.com.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You
Success.
Expand and you offer more products to more people. And that's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They got the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile, or check out their flagship dealership in in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards. You see it. It is Woodward Sports Network, the network that is taken by storm. I got to attribute a lot of success to Lions Woodward Sports Network. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying it.
You start in 2020, the network starts. The Lions start to find their rhythm a little bit. 2021, end of the season. Michigan started to find their rhythm the same year. I'm just saying.
The last 3 years.
I'm putting the correlations together. I'm saying Woodward Sports, Michigan, Detroit Lions, all right, whatever. Edwards and Ermanni with Maz. Broder filling in for Maz. Maz filling in for Ryan. I said it before the break, talked about why I like that clip. Dan Campbell talking about Baker Mayfield. You know why I like it? What have we just talked about with TJ Rives is being unprepared. Lions taking the Bucs lightly. The Lions overlooking Baker Mayfield, overlooking the Bucs. They're looking to whoever's going to win between the Packers and the 49ers. I don't think that's the case, Matt Broder. I think that Dan Campbell has had this team dialed in now for the better part of 3 years, and I don't think it stops just because they won one playoff game. Although an immaculate playoff game with a great story, I don't think it stops this week.
No, they proved it this year. Every time they've been in a primetime game, dating back to the very first game of the season, they've come ready to play. And I know that Thanksgiving wasn't technically a primetime game, but they sort of flopped there. But they for the most part show up when the lights are the brightest. That's when this Lions team has played. That comes from Dan Campbell, these coaches that have played in these situations before. There are a lot of young guys contributing, but they have some veterans like Jared Goff, CD Deuce that have been in these moments. So the leadership in that room, it's definitely fueling the entire roster. What's up, Maz?
Nothing. I just wanted to say that.
What do you want to say, Maz?
I lost my train of thought.
You lost your train of thought?
I lost my train of thought. I'm just going to say to the chat, when I said I'm scared of the Buccaneers, I'm just telling you right now, if the Buccaneers played the Rams, the Buccaneers would beat the Rams. I am telling you right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have beaten the Rams. When he mentions all of these players and all of these guys that are coming up, that's a great young team, a good young nucleus led by Baker Mayfield. And Dan Campbell likes Baker Mayfield. I don't blame him. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Remember when I was actually calling for Baker Mayfield
You were.
to come to Detroit, and I'm like, he'd fit here. He'd fit here because he's got that type of personality. And when he went to the Rams, it completely turned him around. Sean McVay saved Baker Mayfield for those 3, 4 games, 5 games, whatever it was that he played in L.A. It just gave him the emphasis to go to Tampa Bay and to lead that team. They all love him. They all love him. Like we love Jared Goff, they all love Baker Mayfield. I'm just telling you, this is a close game, and there's no way possible the Lions can get up for this game like they got up for last week's game. It will not be the same because last week was the perfect storm. Matthew Stafford coming in, the Rams coming in, Sean McVay coming in against Jared Goff. There's no way, as a fan, as a team, you got to admit this, Bray. You can only get up for a team so much. So that's all I'm worried about, that the Lions aren't playing their top of the line game against this team.
Yeah, I get it for the home team every night, but that's a dirty joke. Let's get into the momentum. I want to talk about something. Aren't you glad the Detroit Lions aren't the number 1 seed? And I'm not overtaking everything you said about Baker Mayfield because you're absolutely right. He's playing in rhythm. He's playing with that leadership mode. Like I loved Baker at Oklahoma. Fell out of love with him somewhere in Cleveland. It's just how it goes. But he's back into a situation where I remember why I like Baker at Oklahoma. Asking you that question because wouldn't you hate the Lions to have to be the 49ers playing the Packers team right now? The Lions had to play first round. They got a chance to get a win. They got a chance to get into the rhythm of it. The 49ers don't know what they're really in for. And I've been in situations where I've seen teams, we played the number 1 seed my second year with the Jets. We played 2010. We played the Patriots, the number 1 seed. Like, they never stood a chance in that game. And I wonder, is it sitting that first round out, and really it's 2 rounds because you're sitting your players in week 18. Talk about not being the 49ers this week.
That was one of the side effects of the Brad Allen call in Dallas is that the 49ers got to sit Trent Williams, some of their players, some of their veterans who needed some time off. I'm not as concerned with the 49ers because of how many veterans are on that team and their skilled players are their veterans, and it's the Trent Williams. It just needed a game off. But you're 100% right. Looking on the other side, the Packers are rolling. Like that offense with Aaron Jones and Jordan Love, they're hitting their stride. They're a very, very dangerous team. I'm not counting them out for going into San Francisco and knocking them off. But on the flip side, the Lions, and this would probably be different if there was a major injury in this last game, in this first game, but they managed to escape that game relatively healthy, and they're getting some guys back. So for them, I think getting in that rhythm, playing that game, getting past the Rams, that's just another notch in their belt, another hurdle that they've getting over. That's just pushing them farther. We did that. Now we're going after another number 1 pick in Tampa Bay. Then we're going to go after who's ever next in front of us. I think it's helpful to the Lions. I don't think the 49ers, I think they have their own situation.
Right. With that being said, you talk about the Lions. I want to talk about the fan base. They got a chance to see a win at home for the first time ever. We talked about it in Detroit. Because last time they won a playoff game, their team was located in Pontiac.
That's true.
Downtown Detroit, they get the first playoff win. The fan experience, you were at the game. How was the fan experience?
Oh, it was incredible.
What was that electricity like?
It was incredible. And it started about an hour and a half before the game. They had the Packers and the Cowboys game up on the screen, and everyone, as they were coming into the stadium, and all the employees, every time the Packers would do something or they'd put the new score, the crowd would start to erupt, and you sort of felt it getting louder and louder as it went on. Then they had all the celebrities in, Eminem, Big Sean, Calvin Johnson, Barry, and Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It all built up to that moment where not even Matthew Stafford running onto the field, but when they announced the Lions starting lineups, each player, it just got louder and louder. Penei Sewell, when they announced Sam Laporta, the crowd went nuts. And then finally Jared Goff. The roof was about to explode. And to go back just 1 minute to what Maz was saying, what I took from that about maybe being a little nervous of the Bucs, I think the Lions, they need that fan support again. Like there's a little extra edge that these fans can't just think we're gonna play in the NFC Championship game and not bring their loudest energy.
I love the Axel Foley jackets that all the sideline guys were wearing. Big Sean had one on. Barry had one on.
Was that from the 49ers fullback, Jusic? His wife He's making these.
No, that's the original. That's Eddie Murphy.
I'm thinking of
but
something
she
else
is making jackets.
Oh, yeah.
She made the one for Tyler Lautner.
Oh, okay, got you.
And Taylor Swift. She's been making those. That's Kyle Uzak, the fullback for the 49ers.
Gotcha.
His wife is. Her Instagram went up like 500,000.
More than any other player in the playoffs.
Yeah. Those were different. The police. I'm talking about the Eddie Murphy jacket from Beverly Hills Cop.
I wish Eddie Murphy was on the sidelines with that.
3 years ago, there was a player who told everybody to buy into the Detroit Lions. There was one player, he's the veteran of this team. He's the longest tenured Detroit Lion. He said, I would do anything for Dan Campbell. Why not give him a shot? Why not change it? I'm talking about Taylor Decker. So you bring the fan experience in. Here's Taylor Decker talking about these fans.
The weather's been terrible. But, you see fans crying in the stands. You see, I think I saw a picture of, there was an 85-year-old lady. And her son posted it. I think she was in hospice. She's been a Lions fan. She dyed her hair blue, like Saint did. Just stuff like that, and it's just beautiful how much our sport means to people. And like I said after the game, I'm just thankful that I get to be a part of those special moments for people, because the fans driving our game to be what it is allowing me to have special moments and special memories. So, man, it's gonna be fun to have another home game. That was the best environment I've ever been in, by the way. That was incredible.
Sorry if you guys couldn't hear that. Basically, Taylor Decker has the best environment that he has ever been in, and this is considered a guy that played at Ohio State and won a national championship. So let that sink in. It's just good for him. Don't you love when players that have played for a team and they just don't have success, and eventually that team turns around and you still got that one long tenured player that's still there to share in that success. Great for Taylor Decker.
Yeah, fans recognized it too, and it's pretty funny when his name was announced. He gave the reporting signal as he was running out, waving. Just a little extra jab at him. Taylor Decker, he's such a great player to support, to root for. He's just a good man, even if he went to that school down south.
It's all good. He's a Lion now.
Yeah, he is.
Hey guys, out of the 8 teams, where would you rank the Lions? Out of the 8 remaining teams, let's put up the CBS Sports on Instagram, came up with this list, which is probably going to upset about I'd say 99%, maybe 100% of you guys out there. Let's put that up. It's the top 8 teams, and guess where they have the Lions? They got them at number 7.
Criminal.
Number 7. Out of the 8 teams remaining, only the Texans, the first upstart Texans, are behind the Detroit Lions. What do you think of that list?
If I'm ranking my list as I was doing over here, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens at 1. Whoever did this list is an idiot, because the Ravens beat the hell out of the 49ers not too long ago, and Brock Purdy, who was up, it was his MVP to lose, lost it. So Ravens first, 49ers second. I'm going with the Chiefs third. I don't care that they're on the road. I saw all I need to see out of them. I'm going Lions 4. I'll go Green Bay. I'll go Green Bay 5. Bills 6, Texans 7, and Bucs. Or you can flip-flop them. I don't care. But I think the bulk 4 is going to be Ravens, 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, Lions, and then Green Bay.
Hey.
I think that's what it has to be.
You have an issue with it, Matt?
No, I have an issue with the list, the CBS Sports list.
This is.
Well, where would you put them?
I would put the Lions, or I wouldn't argue with anyone who had them in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th spot.
Yeah.
I think they should be right there. They're not ahead of the Ravens or the 49ers, but to have the Bucs and the Packers above them,
the way they're playing now, they're saying.
Yeah, but the Lions have been playing. The one loss was the Cowboys game, which we all know how that went.
Right.
They've been playing well, and they were 12-5 during the regular season. What does it take for this team to prove to the national media that they're a legitimately good football team?
Problem is, they're still the Detroit Lions, and the national media base, although they now know that the Lions are for real, they still think they're the Detroit Lions. Hell, think about this.
Fair.
It took the fans of Detroit a while to get out of the fact that they're now the Detroit Lions. Yeah, the way I see it, the Ravens you have to, the 49ers you have to, the Chiefs, they're not even playing better football than the Lions in my estimation, but they still have Patrick Mahomes. And their defense has been playing lights out. So that's why I have them above the Lions. The Lions are 4. And then I can understand Green Bay. Green Bay is 9, I think 8-1 their last 9 games, and they look on fact. The only team that Green Bay has actually lost to were the Bucs.
It's wild.
Were the Bucs, man. It's just Playoffs.
Hey, it's all opinions, right?
Did you see the Jim
got
Moore
it.
playoff commercial?
Everybody's got it. Yeah, Jim Moore.
With
back
Kevin
on.
Hart.
He's got
It's about
playoffs.
10 years
Everybody
too late.
can make money.
10 years too late. But he still looks good, by the way.
He looks the same.
Jim Moore has not
He
changed.
looks better than his son.
He does.
He looks better than his son. Speaking of his son, fun coach at the Falcons. I know we're just killing time, bouncing all around. I just can't see Bill Belichick going to the Falcons.
No,
he's this close.
I can't see it. It's a young city. Like, it's a young team. They have no quarterback. Like, what is he gonna bring to them? He's gonna bring that disciplinarian style of football in. Like, that doesn't work in college. How the hell can you get that to work in the NFL?
Maybe he likes Ritter. Maybe he likes Tyler Heineke. I don't know. Maybe they're going to draft a quarterback. But he is getting a second interview with Atlanta, and it's basically a formality.
Yeah.
It looks like he is the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
I mean, if I'm Arthur Smith,
the team that was up 28-3 in the Super Bowl, and they reversed that, if you remember.
Full circle, right?
Unbelievable.
Full circle.
I'm shocked.
You think that was involved in his interview?
Oh, God. The first day he met with Arthur Blank, today or tomorrow he's meeting with the rest of the brass. I think it's a formality. I think we'll ask Cynthia. Cynthia Frelund's coming up from the NFL Network. We'll ask her about it as well. But I think he's as good as he's a dirty bird.
Okay. Well, a little Jamal Lewis right there.
Little Jamal.
Yeah, little
Jamal
dirty
Anderson.
bird action. We know what happened at that Super Bowl.
Jamal Anderson.
I was at that Super Bowl.
You were? Were you hanging out with Ray Lewis?
I wasn't. That was the Broncos and the Falcons.
Too soon.
Eugene Robinson got in trouble. He got named Man of the Year.
Yeah.
And then got caught with a prostitute that same night.
Nice. Hey, look, man. Sometimes you got to pay for it.
I know.
Sometimes you got to pay for it.
That wasn't good.
He's paying for it double time.
That wasn't good.
Hey, how about we take a quick break, get a message from Swiss, and when we get back, let's talk about the Lions' 2024 schedule. I know they're in the playoffs, but it's fun to look ahead, especially when you see their list. But first, Swiss.
Yes. Do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do. This college football season was amazing, and the NFL season is winding down. But you know what you can't wind down on? And that's shopping your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com. Or as always, you can give them a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tourney. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. They're open 7 days a week. Just walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome. Yeah, definitely want to get in on that because I think the tournament might be different this year. I think it's gonna be fun. It's been very boring lately, but maybe it'll be fun this year since it's in our own city. Welcome back, reminding Elwoods with Maz.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone of something.
Second hour. Go ahead, Maz.
Last year, the wild card round sucked.
Yeah.
The division round was unbelievable. This year, the wild card round sucked except for our game. This division round, I'm hoping I see a lot of one-score games and winners at the gun, especially Kansas City Buffalo. I mean, is that thing going to overtime again? This time the coin flip goes Buffalo's way? I don't know. I'm just looking for better things than last week. Last week's games were horrible, except for ours.
Yeah, I mean, you got a couple narratives in here. You look at Green Bay versus San Fran. This is one of the more storied rivalries, especially as it relates to the playoffs. Haven't seen it in a while, or actually have seen it in a while. Green Bay won, but it's going to be a fun one to watch that one. You got Protege going against Mentor in that game, and obviously Kansas City and Buffalo. You look at that game. Everybody's been waiting to watch that game again since 2 playoffs ago. Maz still will not stop talking about the overtime. That's the Bray. They shouldn't do it that way.
That was their chance,
That
man.
was a whole year. No,
that was the Bills' chance to finally break the streak.
Well, their chances now. You look at the Lions and the Bucs, 2 teams that used to be in the same division. Actually, the Bucs had won the division more recent than the Lions until this year.
Thank God
and then you got
over.
the Enigma game. And C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans going up against John Harbaugh and soon to be named MVP Lamar Jackson. Lions 2024 schedule.
Yeah.
First thought when you saw the schedule, man.
It's tougher than I imagined, but
That's
so
an
is Michigan's,
understatement.
by the way. But you got the usual crowd coming in. You got our division. Then you got the Bills coming in. You got
Which
the
our
Jags.
division, by the way.
Yeah.
The Bears and the Packers next year.
That's the best division.
This division is backloaded. That's
You're
fast.
not kidding. You ain't going to sweep that division
Nah.
anymore. The Bills, the
4-2.
Jags, the Rams are coming in. This is where you could give Matthew Stafford a little video vignette maybe and say thank you to him. Because obviously that's a way to go. Do we have a phone call right now, Jeremy? Cynthia on the phone. I knew V-Mix would mess up. We don't get Cynthia. We don't get to see Cynthia on video. It's all right. We watch her on the NFL Network all the time. She is my personal favorite, and the only one to pick the Detroit Lions. It's Cynthia Frelund, NFL Network analytics expert, show host, the works, and she's from Okemos, Michigan. Welcome to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I have all my Lions gear on. I don't know, the remix didn't work, so.
That's okay. It happens. You're not the first one to not get through, Cynthia. I appreciate it. I know you're rooting for the Lions. You were the only one to pick them on the whole NFL Network. Basically, all the networks picked the Rams. This time, what kind of game are we going to expect against this Buccaneers team?
Well, I think the key, again, will come down to Jared Goff keeping himself out of harm's way, staying clean. We know the Bucs like to blitz. They blitzed at the 3rd highest rate in the regular season. So I would imagine you're going to have to see what happens again. But he was 21 for 21 last week when he wasn't under pressure. So pretty good stuff.
Cynthia Frelund from NFL Network joins us. Okemos, Michigan. That's a little close to Michigan State, man. Were you always good? Were you behind enemy lines being that close to Michigan State?
Well, I actually was trying to find. I had, a Braylon Edwards jersey from a while back. I couldn't find it. I did, yes, absolutely. And I didn't go to either one. So my Big Ten school that I paid for is Northwestern. So,
hey, well, I love
that was
Northwestern.
my grasp.
A lot of love there.
Perfect.
So much is made about Baker Mayfield and this offense as it should be. I mean, you see what he did to the Philadelphia Eagles, and along the way, that offensive wide receiver corps has found their balance. But I want to talk about the defense, man. We just had TJ Rives, sideline reporter from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on, and he's talking about Kalijah Kancey, and he's talking about Antoine Winfield. Talk about what that defense can spell problems for this Detroit Lions offense.
Sure. So, I mean, Kalijah Kancey was kind of came out of nowhere. Same with Yaya Diaby. And not really came out of nowhere, but, as rookies, you're not really sure what to expect. We know Todd Bowles does not like to allow opposing offenses to run the football. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting against this front that has played really well and allowed the run game to really get play action going, keep Jared Goff out of trouble. So that's one area where we're going to have to watch out. And then the second situation is going to be just stay away from Antoine Winfield Jr. Sure, he was snubbed for the Pro Bowl, but he's not snubbed for the All-Pro team, which, probably is a bigger honor, in my opinion. So, that's going to – but other than that, there are some other places where they can get got. And you saw it last week. Devontae Smith had some nice catches, some areas, and we know that Jared Goff can throw the in-breaker. You know that.
Yeah, Cynthia, Matt Broder here. Thanks so much for joining us. I had a question in your most recent article on NFL.com. You opened it. It was really great. You talked about your love for the Lions and then analytics being almost an augmented element to the personal, the emotional side of a sport, of football in this case. Can you talk a little bit about that? With this game being so unique between the Bucs and the Lions, can you talk about that, how that factors into your analytics?
Totally. So when you have 11 people on each side doing 22 different things at any one moment, it's very hard to kind of use analytics in the same way, say, baseball or even basketball has popularized it, right? Moneyball, we saw that, all the stuff. But the interesting part about analytics for football, and every team has an analytics department, whether or not they're called that, sometimes it's hidden in quality control, just have different titles. The whole point is to create the optimal set of circumstances for a player to best achieve their best self, meaning, let's leverage the speed and explosive nature of Jahmyr Gibbs, but it was smart to roll him out kind of not necessarily from day one, but as the season progressed. Things like that, making decisions. It's just the same as when you have any business, you want to make the best decisions possible. It doesn't always mean that the outcome is optimal, but you have to know if you're making the higher or lower probability situation so that you can look at your, what you've done, your body of work, and say, this is where we can improve. This is how we've used our assets the right way. This is how our best serving our players and our fans and to get a win, right? Because we all want the same end goal, which is to win the football game. But you have to take it from, okay, what's the, how do you get to point differential being in your favor? First downs, touchdowns, or stopping them on defense, for example. And how do you best support that? Maybe it's pressure for some teams. If they have better secondary, then perhaps it's through different types of coverages. So it's really trying to find ways to optimize for your strengths and minimize your weaknesses.
Cynthia Frelund joins us, NFL Network. Okemos, a native Lions fan.
There you go.
She's got it all. She's going to be here, by the way, this weekend. She's going to be at Ford Field Saturday at noon. You're going to watch her on NFL Network. And then she'll be across the street on Sunday, guys. You know it. It's the Elwood Bar, Sunday at 11 a.m., NFL game day. Her and Colleen Wolfe in the morning. And she's an Okemos girl. So yeah. That's going to be exciting for you, Cynthia, coming back home. They finally let you out of the studio.
So I'm an indoor cat. Me and Jared Goff, we prefer the indoors. But they let me out. They let me out on the road, and it's funny because Colleen Wolfe actually happens to be one of my real life best friends too. Awesome. So it's very cool to be able to experience this with her. I mean, she's an Eagles fan, so whatever we can forgive her for that.
Yeah.
We can forgive her for that, but it'll be good. And a lot of my Okemos friends are gonna come down and go to the bar and bring their kids and their grandparents, and it's just so special to share stories about where you were the last time the Lions won. And I mean, I don't even really remember it. I was a little young, and I keep checking my app, and I remind people, hey, we didn't even have an app the last time the Lions won a home playoff game. There was no iPhone, no smartphones, barely anyone had the internet. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, just to prove you're a Detroit girl, tell everybody the name of your dog.
Gordy.
Gordy.
As in Gordie Howe, of course.
That's it. Hey,
and he's like the cutest husky. He's a rescue, and he's just the best. He doesn't fight. He doesn't do the Gordie Howe hat trick because he's not a fighter. He's a lover.
There you go.
Hey, wait till you see the Gordie Howe Bridge when you get here. It's almost completed. The bridge from Detroit to Canada. It's the second bridge that they're building. It's going to be open hopefully next year at some point. But it's the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Make sure your driver takes you past there so you could take a look at it, see the scenes.
Definitely got to see that. Hey, Cynthia, from a national point of view, you talk about the Detroit Lions over the last 3 years and kind of the road it took to get here. It was the 3-13 in 1 year. Then it was 8-2 in the last 10 games last year, and now here winning the division. Just talk about what it's been like to watch the Lions from afar. Dan Campbell as a coach and this players kind of get to this moment.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I wasn't sure what to expect from Dan Campbell because obviously we know he has a lot of heart. But, to really get everyone to buy in is very, very hard. You know that, being a player. It's difficult. 3-13 seasons do not make for happy players. It just doesn't. So it really speaks to how much he was able to impart his wisdom, his personality, his authenticity on the team that it's gotten to here. And obviously being in lockstep with his GM. I mean, for goodness sake, you have to bring in the right set of people. This is a team that, the draft was really interesting. being able to get Brian Branch in the second round was extremely lucky, especially because last year was not like the biggest deal. And not even like that was not even known as like a draft where people were like, hey, it's so deep. So to get that kind of production from the second round pick is really incredible. And that's not even talking about the first round guys, right? Like these are historic numbers from your tight end and really great numbers in production from your rookie running back. So these are things that are special. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, that guy's a huge deal too. I mean, you forget that, you know, people, there's like those Elite 11, which is like this quarterback thing. I know you guys all know it, but maybe the listeners don't, right? Where it's quarterbacks, they go participate around the country and Nike sponsors it. I remember talking to some Elite 11 coaches and they were like, you know who's going to be great? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Wow. And I'm like, really? This is like, and they were right. They were completely right. So being able to get these people to work in a way that supports what the mission is and kind of make up for some of the deficiencies, because we know there's areas of the defense that could be a little bit patched up, but I mean, DJ Gardner-Johnson is a massive help. That's a big deal, and being without him was difficult.
Hey, what's your take on you're the analytics guru? What's your take on how Dan Campbell runs this team, going on fourth down all the time, and of course, go back to the Dallas game and all the extra point tries? I want to hear your opinion on that, Cynthia.
Well, the first thing about the fourth downs, so there's two really important parts about this is people always say, like on the broadcast now, you hear people say, the analytics say to go for it. And that is kind of my personal pet peeve because that's an average of like what's happened in the past. It doesn't take into account what your team is, the type of defense you're facing, or the situation of that only the coach could know is like, hey, my right guard's been banged up like 80 times by Aaron Donald. We can't do this, right? These are the types of things where you have to have the touch in the field. This is where it becomes art in addition to science. So sometimes it drives me nuts in the broadcast when people say that. But the truth is if you have the right sets of fourth down, you practice them more often, and your team understands what the assignment is, you give yourself a better chance of making it happen when you do go for it. So I like that that's the identity of the team, and that's the identity of the coach, and it's been clearly communicated. So that's where you're, and obviously the strength of this, to me, I spent my master's thesis studying offensive linemen, which is really nerdy, but ultimately that's one of the massive strengths of this team is how the offensive line works and really keeps everything in check for a lot longer than many other teams. I mean, I'm sure, Braylon, you could talk about how having a good O-line is better than not having one, right? So, but at the end of the day, you know, that's great. And then the Dallas game, I loved the game plan. I thought it was really sound. And if you ask me, they won that game. I understand that the record book says something different, but that was a massive win in terms of Dan Quinn is not an easy defensive mind to figure out, even if last week looked a little weird from the Packers standpoint. That was the first time in any game this season that they didn't have multiple pressures from the same defensive player. They only had 4 total pressures that entire game. So against the Lions, you were getting Dan Quinn best. You weren't getting Dan Quinn's confusion.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. It's like blackjack. There's what the book tells me to do, and there's what my chips also will allow me to do the math.
Cynthia, I want to ask you, if you had to pick a game here, who's the tougher team to face? Was it the Rams, or is it this Buccaneers team for the Lions?
You know, I think the Rams, because of the fact that they kind of had some similar structures, meaning, you know, Puka Nacua sort of came out of nowhere. Those deep crossers that he was able to complete, I mean, you even saw it at Ford Field, right? Like, he was a special kind of runner, and they had something going on with Kyron Williams, too, that was great. So, and look, Aaron Donald and Jared Goff, yet they know each other. And I love the narrative about, like, Matthew Stafford and Jared. They don't really know each other, but I know Jared Goff knows Sean McVay. So, sure, there were a lot of narratives there, but I do think that team, they had some interesting kind of at the end of the season, they started to put the things together correctly. So they're kind of on this upward trajectory. Sure, the Bucs have overachieved given what we thought ahead of the season, but they still have some areas where it's not to say that I think that they're, you know, not a very good team, because they are, but their run game for the second straight season has been the least productive in the National Football League. Now, Dave Canales has figured something out, throwing short passes to running backs. Sure, that matters. However, the actual run game is really, really indicative of who wins football games, and they don't necessarily have that as a consistent thing that we can rely on.
Hey, Cynthia, last one. I just wanted to ask about the coaches. Bill Belichick is about to become the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm in shock over this. The Dallas Cowboys are keeping Mike McCarthy. There's about 9 other jobs available. What is the most intriguing thing to you?
I want everyone to keep their grubby paws off of Ben Johnson.
Yes.
But that's what the most no. But ultimately, I think there's a few things that are going to happen here. Let's fast forward, and let's say whenever the season's over for the Texans, I'm curious how both Bobby Slowick and actually, it kind of sounds strange, but Gerard Johnson is a name to keep an eye on too. He's the quarterback coach down there for the Texans. They all have that, like, I'm curious to see this year between the Shanahan trees and like the Norv Turner like trees, right? Like that's going to be interesting for me because Mike Macdonald, where he ends up, the Baltimore, obviously Michigan people know Mike Macdonald as former defensive coordinator. So where he ends up is going to be fascinating as well because there's so many people. We've emphasized offense so much. I actually think there's going to be an advantage for teams to figure out their defense correctly as well this next offseason because I don't know if I wouldn't call Bill, obviously he's a defensive-minded head coach, but he's more of like, you're going to get the best of both sides there, so take him out. But a lot of these other names being floated tend to be offensive guys, and I'm curious to see how that all works.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Cynthia Frelund, NFL Network Analytics, and she's on all the shows. She's a must-watch, especially during the fantasy football year. And she's a Michigan girl, and she's a Lions fan, and her dog is named Gordy. And she's going to be at Ford Field Saturday, 12 noon, and live from the Elwood right across. You know where it is, guys.
Check her out,
the
man.
Elwood Bar right across on Sunday at 11 a.m. Colleen Wolf and her for NFL Game Day mornings. We appreciate your time, Cynthia. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Let's go, Lions. Come
Let's
on,
go.
one more. Let's go.
We'll talk to you again after the Lions win and win the NFC Championship.
You got it.
Yes.
All right, kiddo.
We will.
You heard her. She said okay.
She
Let's
did
go.
because she agreed. She knows what time it is. Cynthia Frelund, we appreciate you and NFL Network.
She's brilliant, by the way.
She is. She knows her stuff. We could have talked to her for a lot longer, man. But we got Dr. Pierce coming on in. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Get you talking about Premier Pet. We'll come back. We'll digest some of that conversation, and then we'll get Doc up here. But first, Guardian Alarm.
You're gonna come to me over here for a little Guardian Alarm.
Then let's take it to Matt Broder.
You bet, because it's a new year. So let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. They have professional technicians that take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 personal monitoring, so you can call them day or night. They have technology backed by people, so your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. So check them out. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
Stay out.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Hey guys, it's Maz for the post-game show. You know what we do every Sunday, every Lions game. We've got the pregame with Jeff and the gang. Then we've got the watch party. Everyone is at that. We love to chat during that. And then we got the post-game show. Myself, Stick, and Anson, and a cast of thousands here. Of course, you got the Kool-Aid drinking Booner. You got Broder showing up. We got Kool-Aid in the booth. Pete as well. Spencer jumping in. Easy. And then they go out and they get a couple of drinks and they come back and they really have a good time here.
Then it's a
Make
party.
sure you catch us after every Lions game. We're going to see you this Sunday after the Lions divisional game, of course, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And keep it right here on the Woodward Sports YouTube.
Welcome back. Ermanni Edwards with Maz Broder joining us. Tom Mazaway joining us. Just got off the phone with Cynthia Frelund of NFL Network. Tremendous job that she did. Before we were talking to her, we were going over that 2024 schedule. You know, some eye-opening teams. And I think I asked you, what was the first thing that popped out to you in terms of the teams that
I'll
were
tell
on
you
that
what
schedule?
it is. Well, we're going to Dallas again. Why don't they ever come here? Why do we have to go to Dallas?
Maybe because of that beatdown they took in '92.
Jeez,
maybe there was something.
Give me a break
in the contract. Yeah, you talked about the division a little bit, Broder. Talk about the away teams. I mean, you look on there, you got the 49ers, Dallas Cowboys, C.J. Stroud and the Texans. That would have been a laugh last year. Who knows with the Colts and Shane Steichen?
They're on the up and up.
And Shane Steichen and then Kyler Murray and Gannon. Talk about that road trip. There's going to be some tough ones in there.
Yeah, it is. What I noticed first, though, is that there are only 3 games on the schedule that are outdoors. So the majority of this schedule, they're playing in a dome. Whether that's in
Jared Goff. Pay Jared Goff.
Right? And one of those 3 games is in San Francisco. He's a California guy. So really it's 2 outdoor games. So I like to see that. And then also the Lions were expected to get one of the international games this year, which would mean they'd have to take away one of their home games at Ford Field. I don't know why or how it switched. That's not the case anymore.
No,
so they're going to get 9 home games at Ford Field when they thought we were going to have to miss out on one of those this year. So home and away, it's a pretty grueling schedule. These younger teams, you look at the Cardinals, we don't know how good they're going to be next year. They might be on the up and up too. So it's grueling.
What do you think the Thanksgiving Day game is? They'll probably play an AFC game because they played the Packers last year. So the AFC teams are the Bills and the Jags and the Titans.
But they lost to the Bills last year.
So the Bills aren't going to come.
So
Man, you want Will Levis on Thanksgiving, don't you?
You might be Jacksonville or Will Levis and the Titans.
Yeah,
coming here.
I can't see him making the Titans game. That's a nasty game. It's,
Yeah,
it's gonna have to be.
Going anywhere.
It's gonna have to be the Jaguars. I mean, at least you get a #1 quarterback in Trevor Lawrence and a team that can entertain you. Or maybe the Bills again.
Yeah, or they might make it just a division game. You never know. With this new TV schedule, you really don't know. It used to be every other year you get NFC, AFC, NFC, AFC.
Would you?
I think it is AFC this year.
Would you be down for a rematch of this coming Sunday?
The Buccaneers?
The Bucs and the Lions.
Yeah.
They used to be in the same division, the NFL Central.
Why not?
It might be something.
The Seahawks even.
The first thing that jumped out at me is receiver cores. That's what I looked at. Like I looked at the 49ers receiver core. Tank Dell will be back next year for the Texans receiver core. You look at the Cowboys receiver core. Shane Steichen, they'll have those boys going. Justin Jefferson and
Addison.
and Addison. That's another receiver core.
I love
Green
the Colts.
Bay's receiver core. The Jaguars receiver core, the Bucs receiver core, the Seahawks receiver core. Jesus Christ!
They better get better.
We better get our secondary up to par.
They better get it going.
Yeah.
The draft will be here, so we'll be rooting for them.
I keep forgetting that the draft is in Detroit.
Yes,
in 2024.
coming up in April, man. We got opening day for the Tigers, and then 3 weeks later, you got the NFL draft here.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, announcing the 32nd pick in Detroit.
Man,
amazing.
that would be great. That would be great.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's talk about some other teams around the NFL because there were some guys that I thought were going to get fired that still have jobs right now.
Heck yeah.
Still have jobs right now. So we'll get a break on that. But before that, let's hit Tom Mazaway on Premier Pet.
All right, guys. Give your pet the best. You know it. Premier Pet Supply. Hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers. One major difference. Family and locally owned and operated for over 30 years. Over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Same day local delivery. Curbside if you prefer that. It's Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. PremierPetSupply.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Jack Labrador. You want to check out that QR code above my head, and you go to jacklabrador.gg for all the details on how to play this great game. Only $20, and it's a new way to play rock, paper, scissors, 2 new symbols, and a 3-point play, a franchise-changing 3-point play. You want to know more about Jack Labrador? Go to the website right now, jacklabrador.gg. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Edwards, Mazaway, and Broder returning for the second to last segment. But, Maz, let's take it around the NFL. So much going on here in Detroit with the Lions that we forget there are other teams, other coaches, and other situations out there. What's going on around the league?
You guys are shocked as me that Mike McCarthy is returning as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. I'll ask you first.
I really want to say no. I really want to say yes. I really want to say yes. Look, 12-5, 3 years in a row. I get all that. I get the analytics. You look at what Dak Prescott did in the regular season this year. Best year he's ever had. That was under the good tutelage of Mike McCarthy. But he does not have the team. That team didn't show up. This is how many playoff games have we seen that team didn't show up? It starts at the top. And we know it starts with Jerry and all that, the back and forth. But how much proof do you need that Mike McCarthy's not the guy for the full job?
Man.
It's 12-5. Like I saw Marty Schottenheimer get fired after going 14-2.
Man,
like I saw Marty Schottenheimer go 14-2, win Coach of the Year, and get fired. Like when he doesn't have it, and the team is in disarray. They need to clean up, and it starts from the top. I'm surprised that he still has a job.
How about you?
12-5 is cool, but like regular season, you want to be a regular season champ, or do you want to host that trophy at the end?
Matt, how about you?
Yeah, I think it points right to the coach. Like to me, they have the talent. They have a quarterback, offensive line, defense, CeeDee Lamb. They have everything you want in a team. So to not show up on the biggest stage so consistently, even in the road games this year, they've been dominant at home, but that's where you're the most comfortable. What does the team look like when they're on the road in a tough environment? They haven't shown up. So to me, that points right to the coach.
Mike McCarthy yesterday, after the people got the word, yeah, I'm coming back.
But my message would be this: we have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet. We know how to win. We know how to train to win. We have the right people, but we have not crossed the threshold of winning playoff games. And it's extremely disappointing to be sitting here talking about it. But I know how to win, and we will get over that threshold. I have total confidence in it, and that's why I'm standing here today.
And then
I want to put a stat up for you before you say a word.
Okay.
Put up the Dallas Cowboys versus the Houston Texans stat, Pete. How many playoff wins the Houston Texans have compared to the Dallas Cowboys since 2000?
Yep.
Look at that. The Texans weren't born in 2000. They were born in 2002, and they have 5 victories compared to 4 for the Dallas Cowboys. That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and that's why. But you know what it goes back to, and you're gonna keep changing the quarterback. I mean, the head coach. Yes, Mike McCarthy can't get this team rocking and rolling. Yes, Dak Prescott is a 4th-round quarterback that's gonna do 4th-round quarterback things. No matter how bad you try to make him a 1st-round quarterback, he got drafted in the 4th, and you see those things. With that being said, it starts at the very, 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 very top. And we give Jerry Jones so much leeway because his teams do win 10, 11, 12 games because they do get to the playoffs, because he does have those 3 Super Bowls early on in the 90s. At some point, you got to say, hey, look, it's on Jerry. When Jerry leaves, then they'll have some success.
He's 82.
It's coming.
I guess he's I guess he's comfortable still. He don't look it when he's in that suite.
Yeah,
I thought he would can Mike McCarthy before the game was done.
But also, too, by Mike McCarthy only being making $4.5 million and Jerry can do whatever the hell he wants to.
Yeah.
That's the one thing where I'm not surprised. Jerry still fully controls his team. So if you get 12-5 every year and have full control, why hire another coach?
All right. That's all I got, man, on the coaches. We got Dr. Jeff Pierce coming up in just a second.
I got what Ray wanted earlier if you want to throw that in.
Hey, Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, the Dano talking about the quarterbacks. Why not throw it up there since you already got – this is what I was mention to earlier. Dan's 5 best returning or still in the playoffs. 8 quarterbacks. Here's 5. Love, Mayfield, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson. Notice there is no C.J. Stroud, and notice there is no Jared Goff. Matt's quick thoughts on that.
That's another insult by Dan Orlovsky. He had the Lions losing last week to the Rams.
You know Matt Stafford's his butt buddy,
I get it, but he had him losing by 1 only.
Okay.
But Lamar Jackson, okay. Josh Allen, okay. Mahomes, okay. But Baker Mayfield and Jordan Love?
Yeah.
No. Jordan Love is definitely on the climb up. No question. But Baker Mayfield over Jared Goff, that's a no.
I couldn't agree more.
No.
It's an insult. It's an insult. Jordan Love, his trajectory, his ceiling is high. He's going there. But right now, to have Jared Goff behind both Baker and Jordan Love, it's a travesty.
Well, the good thing about this is we know that things like this fuel Jared Goff. So I hope he was watching. We'll take a quick break and get Dr. Pierce in the studio, sitting in the chair. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone still, where you can feel comfortable and work on your fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and you get all of this just for $10
only
a
$10?
month. Yes, only $10 a month with no commitment. Remember, there are more than 50 Metro Detroit locations and thousands more around the world, so find your local Planet Fitness today, or as always, you can check them out at planetfitness.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
USN merch, you know what time it is. Get some new stuff. Everybody's wearing the same things. They're going to the same sporting goods stores. They're going to the same stores downtown and all around the city. Get yourself some new merch. You got to go to woodwardsports.com/shop. You see the hoodies, you see the hats, you see the Scullies, you see the snapbacks. Simply put, we got the best stuff going, man. You see my boy right here. You'll see him in 2 seconds. My man Matt Broder always got some of that latest Woodward Sports drip on. And simply put, it's just new, man. It's dope. Get with the times, just like the BNL Lions. woodwardsports.com/shop.
Yes, sir.
You see it right there, though. You see the Woodward Sports got the merch
right
on.
there.
How good is the material, though, man? How smooth? Is it light? Material is nice and smooth?
Yeah, it's the best. They got really good stuff on the website. I really do encourage you guys to check it out. Let me get out of the way here for 2 seconds. Dr. Jeff Pierce.
There you go. Injury Insider with Dr. Jeff Pierce. Doc, always good to have you in on Thursdays. How you feeling?
Good. How you go?
Well, good, man. Y'all, you out here like Brian Kelly?
Yeah.
You out here like Brian Kelly?
You know, it's supposed to be in Nashville tomorrow, so I got to practice all my y'alls and stuff.
This is true. Nashville is actually really nice. Nashville's beautiful. How is it? Is it snowing down there right now?
Yeah, Delta actually sent something out that change your flight if you can.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Wow.
They're like down to no degrees, and they don't know what they're doing. I called all the people I was supposed to meet. They're like, it might be better to postpone it a week.
So
next week's going to be 65 degrees.
They don't know how to salt the streets.
See,
they have no idea.
We don't know how to salt the streets.
That first snow really caught us with our pants down.
He's got that platinum sky priority. They sent him a little update before everybody else.
Hey, Doc, what'd you think of the game on Sunday?
It's actually done.
What'd you think of the game on Sunday?
I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Did you make it there?
So you guys, last week you guys kind of said it's better be at home, be comfortable. I made the wrong decision, stayed home.
Oh, so you were comfortable.
I was very comfortable.
Yeah.
This week, staying home from Nashville, we're probably gonna be at the game on
Good.
Sunday.
Good.
You guys?
Heck yeah. I'll be
going?
there. Matt will be there. Braylon, if he went, he'd leave in the second quarter, so he's going to stay home and watch it on the tube.
He knows. Actually, we went to a concert a couple years back. I left the concert early, too. I just don't stay at things long, man. I got to beat traffic. Because if I get stuck in traffic, I get irritable. When I get irritable, I'm not liable for what I do. I'm not liable with what I do.
You got that VIP pass back there.
I do, but at some point you still gotta leave. I'm gonna leave early. So if they get home against the Green Bay Packers, I'll go to the game.
The Green Bay Packers is your sweet spot, huh?
No, but that's the only way to get a home game. Because if 49ers win, then they have to go out to Levi Stadium. I don't like the Packers, but outside of Khalif Raymond and his ankle, what do we know more so about that? Everybody else seems to be healthy, and even James Houston was activated today.
Yeah, so that, like we were talking before, I was kind of surprised he wasn't activated for last week. So he must be feeling well. This is a big game, having him back in the lineup. They're strong right now. We're fortunately we can talk about the Madonna concert, everything else.
Did you go to the Madonna concert Monday?
Yeah.
How was she performing?
I'm just here to say there's a lot of haters out there. So she was phenomenal.
Did she kiss anybody? She's always known to kiss somebody on stage.
She had a great support team. We took care of some of the people there. Her dancers were phenomenal from male to female. They're great athletes, and I think it was an unbelievable performance. There was 38 trucks to bring that stage in. The stage was phenomenal. She was phenomenal.
She's from here.
The only problem is she doesn't start before 11 o'clock at night. She makes you wait till 11 o'clock at night.
You got to wait till it kick in.
It was 10:35.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
10:30. I remember
everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Just a lot of haters.
I'm not a hater.
They knew coming in. It wasn't like a surprise.
I like Madge.
Huh?
Madonna,
Dr. Pierce, speaking of a good performance, your performance on the show a week ago, when you were talking about Sam Laporta's injury and what they needed to do to get back, seems like you hit that one pretty spot on.
I'm glad somebody up there noticed that I'm better than the weather reporters.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but you did. You called it.
Yeah, like I was explaining, we can talk about bone contusions and stuff like that. There's different degrees. We brought it up last week. With bone contusions, it's about what we said. The tough Iowa boy, you got to work through it. There's no fractures. There's no instability of any of the important ligaments that are in the knee, and he showed it. And we saw him catch the touchdown, but more importantly, when we look at the strength of Laporta, it was his blocking, all his skills up front, which don't get so noticed but make a difference in the play, especially in our running game. He was able to be. I would say, like I said, an 80% Laporta is better than a 100% other player. I think he was better than 80% out there. I go see him at full strength this week.
WSN injury insider Dr. Jeff S. Pierce, the Michigan Sports and Spine Center, middle row in Livonia, joins us every Thursday as he does. How much do you make? And now in the NFL, there are tons of injuries, and everybody always has their thoughts on injuries, and whether because they're not doing this or they're doing too much of that. What do you make a team like the Detroit Lions, who hit a lot in training camp, and they also go in pads a lot during the season, where a lot of guys, they're not hitting during training camp. During the season, they're doing shells as opposed to full-on pads. The Lions and Dan Campbell, they go full out the whole year, including a couple days ago. And now they're getting healthy. Now you're seeing them in full strength, and a lot of teams struggled and limped into the playoff. Talk about that as it relates to injuries in the NFL today.
So there is a lot of theories that are flipping back and forth as far as going full boat. Yeah. You want to rest. The resting has probably become more popular. Campbell went the other way. It's going full speed. Like you talk about, the greats, the Kobe's. We go full speed all the time, practice or not. We're going full tilt. So it's hard. You can almost argue both ways, right? We, over the years, especially with the older guys who have been taking the hits, it's better for a rest. Do they know how to play the game? They know how to play the game. To get up, the Lions are a younger group overall. So to kind of go with them as hard as it has, right now we get to play Monday morning quarterback. He's done the right thing. These guys are ready. The intensity's ready. But I think what he did more so is he built such a culture inside that locker room that you rarely see these days.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of these players are throwing their bodies on the line for this coach. And that's what's more important. I think that's the message more than, are we going full pads there or not? Because these guys know how to play football. They know how to hit. They know how to increase that intensity. I think Campbell is just – I think there's just a different culture that we've never seen. And we haven't – look at the greats. I mean, look at the Patriots. I don't even know if they had that kind – nobody loved Belichick.
No.
I mean, nobody – I think they loved Reed in Kansas City during those days.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think it's just these guys are playing above their skill level. I mean, I think he's gotten – and that's a true coach. When you really get everybody playing at a higher level than their potential, but as a group, as a team, it's the true definition of a team. So when they're coming together, 1 and 1 equals 3 with these guys.
Hey, Maz Broder, I agree with everything he said. It kind of makes sense to the thing we talked about with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell is the transparency. It's the communication.
Yeah.
I think that is extended down to the players, which would make this a rare situation. It's not like that around the NFL or in any sport where you can communicate with your coach and your coach can communicate with you. Hey, how do you really feel? Yo, coach, I'm banged up. I'm jacked up. I need today off. All right, you know what? We're not going to have insert player here practice today. How many times have we seen players not practice through the week with the Lions, but they still showed up on Sunday? I think Dan Campbell and his training staff do an excellent job of listening to players, but I think the players are honest with them too. I think players are just BSing to get a day. They're like, hey, I can't go today. That means they really can't go.
Matt, you could speak on that, how the training staff is working with this Lions team. They got them ready. They got this team ready, except for the one quarterback that's out.
Jerry Jacobs, he's gone.
Emmanuel Mosley?
Yeah,
Oh,
Emmanuel
Mosley.
Mosley.
He tore his ACL.
Besides that, they pulled everyone together. It's like putting Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Yeah, it is, and you see it in their drafting of players or bringing in certain free agents. They're comfortable in their medical staff in rehabbing these players
Henry
back.
Ford, baby.
Yeah, is that unusual in the NFL, or is that? Do you know anything about the Lions staff that tells it brings so much confidence to Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to be able to go draft a Hendon Hooker or bring in Emmanuel Mosley? I know it didn't work out, but that confidence to go get them.
Yeah, I mean, the medical staff, look, around at the professional football level, you're at the highest level. There's other politics that we won't get into, but there is politics within that locker room that guys will not come in with their injuries. They're scared because they may be in a contract year. There may be stuff that player doesn't want to know about. I think the openness, like what Braylon was saying, is that open communication. I don't fear if I tell you my ankle's hurt, it's gonna affect my contract, my playing time, stuff like that. I mean, it's a business. We're medical, and we have to understand the business of it also. But I think that open communication. There's other locker rooms that do not communicate as well. And I think they are hurting at the end of the season because they're hiding injuries. They're not properly being rehabbed like they should be through the season to be ready for playoff. I mean, like Philadelphia, there's got to be such a story in that locker room. Kansas City, we know some things with Kansas City. They have some issues in their locker room, but they're working through it because they're champions. So we'll see. I mean, but as far as the Lions, yeah. I mean, the communication that's going on, the team with the timing. I mean, we've had guys out most of the season that are coming back strong right now.
Yeah.
And I brought it up the other day, is that it's almost like they've been resting and you get a fresh set of legs coming off the bench. So those guys are moving at a different speed. I mean,
what can we expect out of James Houston coming back from the broken leg in week 2?
You're going to see a guy who's fired up, ready to go. I mean, you're all worried about that first hit. We've talked about it multiple times. He takes that first hit, but I think this guy is like, I got something to prove. I want to be part of this team. I want to say I was part of these victories too.
This was the last day that they could have activated him. So last week, like you said, I'm surprised he didn't play. But there it is. They were able to rest him, still get a win, and now they bring him back. And then now it's another thing they could throw at Tampa Bay because they haven't seen this guy.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to speculate, Doc, so you can help me with this. But since I've done both, I can just speak from my experience. You much rather a clean break than ligament damage or than anything like that, because with the ligament damage, it takes a while for you to respond the way you used to and get the mental. I think with a break, like as soon as you go, it's already gone. It heals a lot better. Am I right in that regard, or am I kind of right, kind of wrong?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about a bone fracture versus a ligament tear, it's just there's more like a clean break.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's fixed. We can see the X-rays. You look, you're healthy. I feel strong. the muscles around it. You could see some atrophy of the muscle.
Yeah, definitely.
But it kicks back really quick with these guys. With ligaments, it scars down. It doesn't always come back as strong. We do have, like I keep referring to, the secret cocktail that we have to help it, but still that strength, that proprioception, the feedback systems. But these guys are training at such a level. I mean, that's what we love to do at Michigan Sports and Spine, is that we try to give you a little bit of what these guys are getting, 7 days a week. Like, I have this young 17-year-old patient that if we had her 5 days a week, like, it's helping, but it's not helping enough because I'm only going 2 to 3 times a week. These guys get 7 days a week of treatment. I go, if I can put you into that kind of setting, you're better in 2 to 3 weeks.
Amazing.
So it's just a privilege that they have that they deserve.
Side note, I got a massage today. It was a real massage, by the way. Hand and stone.
Thank you for clarifying.
Hand and stone. It was a real one. Told me I need to get my spine checked out. So I was like, I know a guy. So after the show, man, you and I are going to have a conversation. Maz, go ahead.
Hey, Doc, I wanted to ask you about Kirby Joseph. He's been now labeled by several players as a guy that takes a dirty hit. He took out TJ Hawkinson a few weeks ago in Minnesota. Turned out he had an ACL injury. Last weekend, he tackles Tyler Higbee, another tight end for the Rams. He turns out he has an ACL injury. Matthew Stafford chased him down after that and said, hey, I seen the tape. You're a dirty hitter. What's your take on Kirby Joseph and how these Lion players tackle?
Oh, yeah, you're on the hot seat.
Uh-oh. Why are you putting that on my head?
I'm asking you.
Conversation.
There, like I said, you asked me, or Ryan asked me, what do I think about football and the 12-year, they can't play until they're 12. Proper tackling. These guys know what they're doing out there. They know when they're hitting a certain spot consistently. And, I don't think anybody's trying to create an ACL injury because there's a brotherhood of the football league, but there's a few guys that are just, their screws aren't as tight as the others, and they're willing to risk it a little bit more. We never want to see injury. We want to see good, clean football and the right team win. You never like to see an ACL injury. That's all I can say. Does he know how to properly tackle or know what he's doing? Absolutely. Is he fired up and going? I saw the thing with Matthews chasing him down and having very choice words. And, you do it once, it's an accident.
That's a nice way
twice,
to put it. Choice words.
Not necessarily an accident the second time.
Okay.
So if that's a politically correct way of saying my answer.
I got you.
No, you're good.
I floated around that.
Is it safe to say,
as you should.
Is it safe to say that the risk of a lower body injury is not as high as hitting near the head, where you can risk concussion, paralyzation? No. Could that be why the NFL has made the rules the way they are, where now these players have to go low? Or is that not even part of it?
Well, one, they're protecting from concussion because of everything that's happened. Two, you can recover from an ACL, right? Concussion, brain injury, all that. That's the way they see it. But overall, no. Proper tackling, going. You get chop blocks, everything. They're picking on it, but this I think they're pushing the gray area right now with what's going on. Will we see a change in the offseason? I think it's going to be looked at because they don't want ACL injuries at all. So if you're hitting at a certain angle at a certain time where the guy's vulnerable, they know what they're doing. They can hit within a section. You hit the hips versus the knees. It's a lot more core body that you're hitting when you're hitting the knees and the midsection. So you can't always tackle somebody in the midsection.
That's where they tell baseball pitchers if you're going to throw at a batter, it's below the shoulders and above the knees, where the meat is.
They never told Nolan Ryan that. He was throwing at everybody's head, but he is Dr. Jeff Parrish with Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Before you get out of here, since you're staying, you're going to the game now, give us a prediction. Bucs, Lions, Sunday, 3 o'clock. What is your score?
My score?
Score. That's a prediction, buddy.
31-23.
Ooh,
nice.
So they make the over.
I believe it.
31-23. I like it. 8 point. That's not.
I'll take it.
I actually like that.
They cover.
They cover and they win. You heard it here, Dr. Pierce. 31-23. One more break and we will be out of here.
Doc.
Thank you.
Always appreciate you,
All right,
Doc.
guys,
Let's
take
get a
care.
message in from Mark White and Associates.
That would be correct. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, it's at $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 and make your home buying dreams come true.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
That was a setup. Lions VIP tailgate, yo, you don't want to miss it. Eastern Market Shed 5. It starts at 12. Be down there. Woodward Sports Network. We will be in the building. You never know who you might see, who you might want to come in contact with. And also, drinks are good. The food is good. The people are vibrant. It's cool. It stops at 3 because that's when the game starts. So come on down. Eastern Market Shed 5. The people are going to be
free
all
parking right in front.
It's free parking, mate. Free.
And a shuttle to the game if you want it.
Free parking and shuttle to the game. It's some paid parking too, but free parking is available. You just might have to walk a little bit further. Lions VIP Tailgate, bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Oh, all right.
Welcome back, man. Last segment of the day. It's been a great show. Thank you to Dr. Pierce for coming in. Cynthia Frelund from NFL Network. We appreciate you as well. And also TJ Rives.
Oh, he was great.
He was smooth. In and out, in and out, in and out. Hey, everybody you have on here is pretty good.
Thank you, man. Yeah. You know what? The Ravens, if you're a Ravens fan, you got yourself some unbelievable news. They're getting Mark Andrews back. And they have activated Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is ready to go.
How many running backs do you need? They already led the league in rushing by a mile. And you get Dalvin Cook?
They get Dalvin Cook, and the Jets never used him, so let's see what he does.
He's healthy, I tell you that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But having Mark Andrews back is going to be – it's going to be interesting. Let me ask you this, because Lamar Jackson has a new favorite target.
Yeah, Isaiah Likely.
Yeah. So how do you think this works for Lamar? Is he able to easily implement this, or is it kind of like, oh shoot, we'll figure it out?
I think it's going to be easy for Lamar because so at the beginning of the season they stuck with their new strategy of let's stick with Lamar Jackson in the pocket as long as we can. Let's develop this passing game for later in the season. There were some drops early. There were some issues early on, but then once they started rolling, right around the Lions game. That's where they started to hit their stride. So I think Mark Andrews coming back, having him and Isaiah Likely, it's just more weapons for Lamar, more mismatches for a defense that's got to go up.
Hey, man, bro, do me a favor before we get out of here. Ask Tom Mazaway who I picked to win the Super Bowl and to win MVP this season.
Hey, Maz.
Yeah.
Who did Braylon Edwards pick to win the Super Bowl and MVP this season?
He picked the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl, and he took Lamar Jackson as his MVP.
That's a smart
now,
man.
I had the 49ers to win mine against the Bengals, who now the Ravens kind of took over for the Bengals, obviously with those injuries. But great call, buddy.
Appreciate that, man. But we'll see. It's going to be fun. I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, that means the Lions.
I hope I'm wrong.
Exactly.
I hope
that means
the
Lions
Packers knock off the Niners, and the Lions beat the Bucs, and the Lions beat the Packers, and I'll take Lions against anybody in the AFC.
Mass, before we get up out of here, what does your Thursday evening look like, and what was that for?
Ooh. Do you know? What was the first game of the year?
Lions and Chiefs.
What could be the last game of the year?
Lions and Chiefs.
Book it.
How about that? That's a script.
That's
a script.
The script. So is that your call now?
That's my call.
Lions Chiefs.
Lions Chiefs. Super Bowl 58. Let's go. Vegas.
3:58 on the 18th of January. Tom Mazaway said the Detroit Lions will beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You heard it first here on Tom Mazaway.
I'm bowling. I'm bowling tonight. It's Thursday night. You know that.
Bowling tonight?
Bowling tonight.
What you gonna bowl? Give us. I'll predict for you.
Go ahead.
6:15.
6:15. That's what I shot last week. I shot 6:30 last week. 6:15 the week before. I'm trying for 700 tonight.
Ooh.
I want a 700 3-game series.
You might have to smoke first, man.
I might.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Come with a little taste.
That was fun, guys. Matt, thanks for coming in today, buddy.
I went by way too fast.
Hey, what are you doing tonight?
What are you doing?
I got a show 8 to 10 p.m. with my boy Booner. We got Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We got KG in the booth, Nick in the other booth. Come join. Come tune in. It's a great show.
Say less. We'll tune in, man. For JB in the booth, tremendous dive by UP Spivak. Keep getting better and better and better and better. Appreciate you.
Heavyweights are next.
Tom Hazaway, always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for tuning in. We are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. We'll see you later. But tune in. 5 to the heavyweights and then 8 to my man Booner and Broder. Peace.